Good morning, everyone. Bonjour, this French speaker, and good morning, good evening, those who are living across the world. We welcome you, Kalachakra Center in Paris and Tibet House Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Delhi. Welcome you to join for the third session of the Heart Sutra teaching. So before we proceed, I would like to request each and everyone to kindly keep your videos on so that we could have, Gishla and you all could have a very interactive session, and also to kindly keep your microphone on mute to avoid the interruption, please.
Thank you, Tenzin Love. On behalf of Kalachakra Center, we would like to welcome for the morning session Venerable Geshe Damdul. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for coming this morning.
Thank you, Venerable Elizabeth, the director of Kalachakra Center, Paris, and Venerable Jimbala. Thank you for all the efforts in making the translation in French, and also your great contribution. For example, this morning, I was taking out some materials, typing them, and I instantly sent it to Venerable Jimbala to be translated into French. And he instantly did that, and I added one more. And instead of feeling impatient, he said, very good, better, more materials available. And he instantly did the translation to make them available to the French audience. And then the English will be, this morning I prepared a little bit, and will be screen shared by the Tibet House program coordinator, Jamala. And thank you, Arnold from Cultural Center, and the chat manager, Virginia. Thank you. Virginia, you are the chat manager, right? Okay. And then we have Mary, Patrick, and all of my very dear friends from Cultural Center, and then many more. And from across the world, thank you so much. It's a great joy to be with all of you. And we are in the same boat towards the ultimate happiness and the state of fearlessness. And imagine it, that all beings, we're taking along with us, all the beings towards ultimate happiness with the reliable guide of the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings. Okay, with this mind, I hand over setting proper motivation. Then the praise will be led by Tenzil Hadrunla, the Tibet House staff here. Setting proper, this is so important, given that what we're doing is, of course, the extremely important text. At the same time, we don't have much time. We have only 3 more sessions. And this being extremely important, to make sure that we get the most of what we're doing, that which is determined by our setting proper motivation. For that in mind, with this mind, let us visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings in a space in front of you who are so loving, caring, embracing, forgiving to you and each of the sentient beings. And then let's also visualize the Bodhicitta field, your two kind parents, and all your family members, including children, spouse, and all dear mother sentient beings, the human beings, the animals, insects, hungry ghosts, spirits, god and goddesses, and the hell beings, Gandharvas, Asuras, all the beings are with you, and everyone so happily joining you in this setting proper motivation. So with this mind, let us quickly invoke the spirit, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. This spirit bodhicitta which you've generated, just imagine that it is transformed into a spotlessly white moon disk, horizontally sitting on the heart. And wishing that each one of us were never separated from this, the most beautiful mind of the bodhicitta, the presence which gives such a solace, peace, embracing to all the dear sentient beings, which finds no barrier between you and others. Or with this mind, let us begin our recitation.
Everyone. Thank you so much, Venerable Geshe. Reciting the prayers. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Taking refuge in generating bodhicitta. Sangye chotan logi chonamla chancho pazo dani yapsu chi dagi chinso gibe chonamgi dola pinche sangye do parsho. Sangye chotan logi chonamla chancho pazo dani yapsu chi dagi chinso gibe chonamgi dola pinche sangye do parsho. Sangye chodan sogi chonam la chanju pardo dani yapsu che dagi chinso gibe chonam gi dola pinche sangye jobarsho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught the speech, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of art cause those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subduers expound the variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations.
Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. The essence of the pendant origination mantra will recite it for 3 times. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashamanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashamanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashamanaye Swaha. Meaning of the General Nimpo Mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite, such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, I pay obeisance. 4 seals of the Buddha's teaching. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha. The Guru is the Dharma. Likewise, the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and misery bloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Next, we'll recite a Heart Sutra mantra for 5 times. Tayatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisattva.
Okay, taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, since that we have already invoked the spirit of Bodhicitta, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And let us recite this 3 times together. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. And just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'll generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, there is a bell signal. Okay, what you do is that we're going to do 5 minutes meditation, and for those who are already exposed to meditation, I would suggest you to do your own meditation. Then others, those who are not exposed to meditation thus far, I'll give you a quick instruction on the meditation, and let's do that for 5 minutes. It's going to be breathing meditation. Just sit in the most comfortable way and body upright. This is very important. Body upright, and your eyes not closed. Don't close your eyes. Keep the eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down, and then ignore what your eye consciousness is seeing, and just focus on the breath. Focus on breath. Meanwhile, your body must be flexible. It should not be rigid. And as for what you are to meditate, just focus on the breath. Count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2, this is what you're going to do. Meanwhile, if you want to do a little more the complex than multitasking, accompanying this breathing meditation, you also do a visualization of a white dot, a tiny white dot with like 2 mm or 3 mm in diameter between nose and the upper lip. Just visualize a tiny white dot between nose and upper lip, and just focus on this. And meanwhile, multitasking, counting the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. This is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. And whereas if you find it difficult, if you think that you're going to find it difficult, then just focus on the breath. That's good enough. Meanwhile, just stay away from all the distractions and the mental heaviness or mental laxity by resorting to the true remedies, introspection, and the mindfulness. Introspection is to just keep an eye on your mind to see if your mind is still meditating or it is already distracted or in a sleepy state. With this introspection, should you see that your mind is distracted or in a lax state, then apply the mindfulness to bring the mind back to the intended object of meditation. This is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. Okay, ready? Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. Okay, continuation from where we left last time. We are on reading the text. Aravalokteshvara was explaining, I said the Buddha Shakyamuni was presiding over the congregation, and with the blessing of Buddha Shakyamuni, but the Arhat Shariputra stood up to ask question to Aravalokteshvara: how should child of the lineage practice the perfection wisdom? Then Aravalokteshvara responded to this by saying that one should be able to see the dreamlike nature, emptiness of the self, yourself, the five aggregates, and so forth. And in this connection, then Aravalokteshvara went into great detail to explain to say the 4 lines, which is the 4 lines, which are the essence of the Heart Sutra. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, and form is also not other than emptiness. Okay. In our life, I'm sure, if not all, most of us had and have experiences pertaining to, say, the entanglement problems because of the failing to see the discrepancy in the appearance and the reality. For example, let's say in dreams, in sleep, we used to have nightmares. Okay, just raise your hands, those who had experience of nightmares in your sleep. Raise your hands with the very scary dreams. Okay. When you wake up, for example, say in the night, imagine that that you are meeting with a ghost, or you are meeting with a tiger. You tend to run, but the moment you wake up, do you still continue to run? You will not. You will not. And you will agree with me that the reason why you don't continue to run away when you wake up is because that you came to discover the discrepancy between the appearance and reality. In the dream, you see the dream ghost as real. That is the appearance. And when you wake up, you realize that it was not real. So there's a discrepancy between the reality. The reality is that dream ghost is not a real entity, it is a dream. Whereas in the appearance level, you see that as real. So there is a discrepancy between the appearance and reality. When you fail to see the appearance as when you fail to see the appearance as not reality, instead you see this reality, then you are emotionally carried away by it, emotionally being affected. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Yes. And also that the inner life, particularly say the judges and the leaders of the institutions and so forth, they have a tremendous responsibility. When 2 people are in conflicts, you have to listen to both the stories. Because when you listen to only one story, then you create a picture which may not be the reality. And you believe that appearance as the reality. In actuality, there is many times the decisions that we take is because of the taking the appearance as reality. Whereas in actuality, the appearance is not the reality. Okay, so how many you have in your life, you had this experience of taking some decisions or judging somebody else that, okay, this person is not nice because of this, and later on to discover that, no, the person is so kind, so good, the person appeared as so, they say the difficult person, nasty. Later on, come to discover that no, the person's so good. It was only the perception which came to me, and which where I trusted that the appearance or the perception. How many agree with me, Resens? Not only agree that you actually fall in this category to judge others or to think of others as something negative and so forth, and later on you feel sorry. Resents? Very good. Okay. So the point is that this is where all our problems, it is not only these, say the small, the domestic family issues or in the workplace, but the Buddha said that all our problems are because of our failure to see the discrepancy between the reality and the appearance. We trust the appearance, and then this is how we end up in problems. Okay, so since we have only 3 sessions left, I don't want to go, I don't have time to, I want to, but they don't have time to go in detail. Now, to be more direct, this is very important for us. One thing that I want to share with you is that all of us, not only you, me also, it's so important to think of this, that where there is a discrepancy between appearance and reality, failing to see that discrepancy, you end up in problem. And oftentimes we trust our appearance to be the real, where in reality, it is the opposite. This is in ways of examples, in ways of the example of dream, example of you taking wrong decisions because you trusting the appearance as real, and so forth. And sometimes, look, even so now most of people, we have some experience of what COVID-19 is. Otherwise, initially, we did not really have the experience, because of which, when you hear that somebody had COVID next to a neighbor, COVID, instead of getting to go to help the person, you tend to ostracize the person. This is extremely sad. And believe it or not, if not 60 or 70%, minimum 40% of the people died to COVID, not because of the COVID, because of being ostracized by the community, by your relatives, by your friends, and so forth. And emotionally the feeling cut off from the world. This is the reason why many died. Yes. So the point is that all these the problems, from what we can see with our very basic understanding, many of the problems are created, unnecessary tensions are created because of our failing to see the discrepancy between the appearance and reality. We just trusted the appearance. Now, Heart Sutra, it is to help us to discover that there's a discrepancy between the appearance and the reality. Don't trust the appearance. We have to discover the reality. If you discover the reality, your problems will be dissolved. Okay, you may be wondering, what does that mean? What does it mean by that? So for that, I like to give you a very quick example of, but as I said earlier, a reminder for you and for myself is that think of the possibility, how we are trapped in believing, in the appearances to be real. This is what we have to analyze. We have to be observant, to see bring as many examples for your own, the failures and the failures of other people. Even if you go back in the history of humanity, we see that many of the wars and these things are all because of the failure to see the reality as it is, instead by trusting the appearance as the reality, wherein the appearance and reality, there's some stark contrast. Okay. So with this in mind, examples like dream, why we go through nightmare. Why? the dream cannot really affect you, but we go through nightmare. It's extremely, extremely scary. And why? Because we believe the appearance is real. The dream, which is just a mere appearance, nothing really concretely real there. We believe in it, and then we are affected, are emotionally affected, and experientially we are affected. And this is exactly what happens to, in our life. This is what happens. And sometimes it so happens, look, they say in your life, you have a problem with, let's say, one person. Somehow you see the in fact, this table clock is not so accurate. So I took out the battery, it's not working and it's creating problem. And I need it to support my the mobile for to look at the watch. Okay. When I was in school, when I was very young, maybe age 15, I was in class 10. And I bought a similar table clock. So whether I like it or not, whether it's accurate or not accurate, I have to trust it. Because that was the only watch that I have. The instrument to look at the timing. That was when I was in class 10. And feeling very tired for whatever reasons, then taking a nap, or say in the morning, the alarm clock rings. And the alarm clock rings, and I was still in the dream. In the dream, my table clock was ringing. Did it like this. And then I was trying to stop it. The sound doesn't stop. Then I became so desperate. What should I do? Now, then I took the battery. Still it is ringing. Tick, 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 tick. What should I do? Then I smashed the clock. Smashed the clock. Still is making the sound. Tick, 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 tick. I became so desperate. What should I do? Believing in the dream as real. It was a dream. So this is what is happening. It's so important in a real life, that all these problems, small to very serious ones, how they come into being through our failure to see the appearance as appearance, instead believing in the appearance as real. All these problems happen. Whereas if I know that I'm dreaming, see, this sound is not real sound, is a dream sound. In actuality, what was happening was that I was dreaming, and the stimulus was coming from the external sound, external clock. Because in the dream, I was taking the battery, not from the real clock, but from the dream clock. So the external, clock is not affected. It continues to give sound. I smash it in the dream. I smash the dream clock, not the real clock. So real clock continues to give the sound, which means that constantly I had been believing in the dream as real. The appearance of the dream is real. So if you wake up, you come to the net that all these things, the sound that is made in the dream, the clock that I see in the dream, they're all just dream. The real mobile is outside. The real clock is outside. I can fix it from outside. So the point is that what I'm saying is that all our real life problems, somehow they're connected with failing to see the discrepancy between appearance and reality. Now, with this in mind, this is so important. How many of you could so well remember, vividly remember, that in your dream, you really believe the dream is real, and the nightmare, you felt the nightmare essence? Very good. Okay, if you are very serious with this, yes. How can I say that what is happening now? How can I believe in what is appearing to me now as real? No, at the moment I am the wide awake. This is real. Okay, let's see. This is so important. What we see as a flower here. In fact, it's so important for us to take as many examples as possible. Many, and we don't have much time. But from your side, take as many examples as possible. And the experience of emptiness. Experience of emptiness is such that to what extent you will experience it. You will see this wow moment. When will you get it? It depends on to what extent you have scratched the self-grasping ignorance. Ignorance, which is the counterforce to your wisdom, the wisdom of emptiness. So if the ignorance is so heavy and thick, then this wisdom cannot really penetrate. So to what extent you have scratched the ignorance, to that extent, you will have the experience emptiness. So with this mind, how to scratch this self-grasping ignorance? Say greatly, it is dependent on, say, the one easy factor is always try to relate all what you have experienced, what you have discovered, that there's a discrepancy in the appearance and the reality within yourself, within others, within the small children, within the elder people as well. Small children, for example, let's say, if you see a rainbow is very beautiful. Rainbow is very beautiful. And we enjoy the rainbow from distance. We never enjoy the rainbow 1 feet away, 1 foot away from the rainbow. We have to keep distance. And the small child, a small girl or small boy, age 3 or age 4, will tell you, please take me there. And if you take the child there, you are also a small child. You will not take the child there. Why is the child telling you to take him or her to the rainbow? Why? I'm sure you'll agree with me that the child thinks that the rainbow actually exists there from where it appears. If the rainbow appears, if you see the rainbow hitting a house or a lawn or a tree 1 kilometer away from you, the child thinks that it is there 1 kilometer away from you. Once you reach there, you can play with it. The child wants to play with the rainbow. But you will not take the child there because you know that as you go closer towards the place, the rainbow disappears. It is not to be seen there. From there, you can unfold some degree of discrepancy between the appearance and real. What appears does not really exist the way it appears to exist as as an object existing 1 kilometer away from you. It is not true. Okay, then the dream. And then, for example, say, I'm sure some of you must have seen those clips. Say, where was that? In Japan or somewhere? Say in the ocean, people are on the beach. And from distance, they could see something very unusual thing on the surface of the ocean, becoming more and more clear, but massive. But you don't see them as a tsunami. And those people who are more experienced, they start to run away. And others, they stay there to wondering what could that be. And there was even, with great excitement, this is what they've never seen before, talking to others, look. They stay there, and some smart people or experienced people, they run away. What is that? In 2-3 minutes time, that was very fast moving tsunami wave. And don't see that as tsunami wave. It is a very strange phenomenon. We're so lucky that we are seeing this strange phenomena here. I've never seen this before in my life. today I'm saying this. And then within few minutes time, it already just overtake you and you are being washed away and then sucked back into the ocean. Finished. So why this problem? Why this problem of being washed away by the tsunami and later on sucked back into the ocean was because of failure to see that as tsunami, but seeing that as a very, strange, the phenomena, something exciting phenomena. Okay, again, this problem is because of that, failing to see the discrepancy and believing in the appearance as symbol nice as reality. In actuality, no, this is not nice at all. It's a tsunami. It will not only wash you, it will wash the whole, I'll say the whole city. It can later on suck up the whole city into the ocean. This is what it does. So just try to reflect on these things more. In other words, failing to see the discrepancy between appearance reality. In other words, believing in the appearance as real, and then ending up in problems. Okay, likewise, human relations this is one of the best examples. This is one of the best examples. For example, if a tree fall and hit you, and it's somebody who you believe as somebody who is very trusted and nice and gentle and the loving, that person says a very harsh word, that is much more piercing than the tree falling and hitting you. Again, this is all because of believing in the appearance. Appearance is very nice. And then in 2 days' time, in 1 week's time together, and then you start to see the reality there, and then you are trapped. This is what happens in the world. Human relationships with the environment, with the business. Even nowadays, all these, they say what, Amazon and so forth. I don't mean to demean the Amazon, but then what you see and what you get, oftentimes there's a discrepancy there. And you cannot blame them. It's their job to get money from you. Yeah, this is, so what they show is so good ones. And likewise, when I go to, say, in Bodh Gaya 2 years ago, when I was buying the rosaries, many rosaries, not just 1, 2. 1, 2 is very lucky, you can buy the best. You cannot really look at each and every piece. So you say, give me a sample. And the sample is a nice sample. And then you say, wow, that's very good. And how much? And pay this amount. Okay, that's fine. I need 1,000. And you get 100 of them, very good. And the remaining is hopeless. Hopeless. This is again the failure of the believing in appearance, and appearance is real. Okay, so this is so always think of, and yet don't blame others. Don't blame others. This is samsara. If you don't want to be in this world of discrepancy between appearance and reality, get out of the world. See emptiness and go to nirvana and don't stay in samsara anymore. Whereas, if you have a sense of bodhicitta, know that the world is imperfect. Just as you are imperfect, the world is imperfect. Your job is not to say that, not to blame, but to fix it, fix the world. That is the bodhisattva's job. Whereas for others, they run away. Oh, this world is terrible. It's so much of, look, the moment I go out, people cheat on you, and they said even all these, there are so many the companies, they're selling things, it's, and the people, the family members, you see that everybody, there's some problem there here and there. You also have the problem, you don't see that. And your problem, you can, you say there are always excuses, there's always excuses because of this, because of that, and so forth. Others say no excuse, you have the problem, this is a problem, that's a problem. Okay, so world is imperfect. So with this in mind, the one thing that I would be very emphatic here is that we need to think of these discrepancies and how we suffer because of failing to see the discrepancy and believing in the appearance as real. Okay, with this in mind now, let us go to this, say the flower. The flower, let's see. What you see is a beautiful flower. Yes, this is a beautiful flower. This is a beautiful flower, bunch of flowers. What do you see? You see as a beautiful bunch of flowers. Now, okay, just imagine, let's make it very quick. Just imagine that you are looking at this object, you are looking at this object more closely. More closely, and the more closely, which means how can you look at it more closely? Is through electron microscope. One through microscope, and then more powerful microscope like electron microscope. You look at the same object through that more closely, then you end up seeing that what you see as beautiful, that disappears. That's the reality. And for this, those people who took part in the Bodhicitta retreat in Kalachakra Center, the two times, or you already saw that NASA company, the document. Those who are new, I would suggest you to watch it. NASA company's document, which is the powers of 10. Just Google search powers of 10, and then everything will come out. So what this flower will look like when you look at it more closely. Okay. Yes, I've been actually showing this to so many people. Wherever I travel, when I speak about emptiness, I show this document to everyone. One time here in this place, we invited the museum, the conservationist, an expert on this, to give a talk. And what he showed was that on the screen, he showed a very old picture, extreme old picture of a lady, of a young lady. And this picture was very old. And he said that his job, his department, the job is to, now this picture is becoming damaged. So we need to restore it. And what he was doing was just amazing work with high technology. And what he said that, look at these eyes. They were trying to restore the eyes of this picture, the eyes. And what he did through technology, what you're going to see through the NASA companies, the document, to see the same object, the flower, the leaf, human skin, human eyes, through electron microscope, closer and closer. This is exactly what he did. And what we were doing is just like, showing, like a showcase, saying what NASA company did, which is relevant to our practice. But what he did was relevant to his own, the job. He showed that, and I was really, really, taken aback. I was little stunned. I was little speechless. Wow, okay, which looks like so nice, youthful eyes. Suddenly he zoomed in. This is how they did to finally conserve it or restore it. They zoom it, and then all these it was a precise photograph. Zooming in, that youthful eye simply disappears, and it becomes a very strange texture. Okay, then what was described by Isabel yesterday. Yes, the feeling, that feeling, the fear or the uneasy feeling started to come in me. Although I've been seeing these things, showing this to others so many times, but when I actually see this, how people use this in their own, the area, is really strikingly, making us uneasy, because what I earlier saw as this is what it is. This is what they are trying to conserve. And where is it? It disappears. It's not really there. And it makes a little bit of feeling of uneasiness. when that feeling of uneasiness comes, in a way, you are very lucky. If you stick to this reflection more and more often, you are very lucky. This will take you closer, closer, closer towards reality. Okay, with this in mind, okay, just look at this flower now with your naked eyes. Look at it. Okay, just see how it appears to you and what is your emotional reaction. Just look at it and observe your own emotional reaction when you see this flower. Okay, good. Now, the same object which we call as flower now, same object, imagine that you look at it through electron microscope. The point is that how do we see this flower? When we see this flower, how do we see that? Is there something seen as your mind projecting it, like the movie being projected by the movie projector? Or it is seen as, no, it has nothing to do with my mind. It's there, 100% there from the object, and from the object it appears to me. Okay, which of the two ways this flower appears to you? Raise your hands very quick. Raise your hands very quick. Which of the two ways the flower appears to you? Okay, Helen, right? You want to say? Yes. Unmute. Okay, there's some internet issue with, okay, anybody else? Very quick. Okay, Helen. Okay, anybody else? Raise hands very quick. Raise hands. Okay, Mary. Unmute, Mary, unmute.
Ouais,
unmute yourself.
Ça nous apparaît là
Yes.
pour l'instant comme si c'était de son
Oh,
propre
we cannot
côté.
hear you. Allez, ok.
Ça, le bouquet de fleurs nous apparaît là maintenant comme si c'était de son propre côté.
This is a very important question. And how many of you agree with Mary? Raise hands. Okay, so with this, in this connection, again, the second point, which is so important for us to keep in mind, is that this object which we say is flower, there are two possibilities for this to exist. Either, okay, you are interacting with this flower. Your mind is interacting with this flower. This flower is your object, and your mind is the subject. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Okay, good. Now, in your dream, you see, and when you are experiencing nightmare, let's say that dream ghost is your object and your mind is the subject. Your dream ghost is the object and your mind is the subject. Now, when you believe the dream ghost is real, then it scares the subject, the mind. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Okay, so this fear is because you believe the dream ghost as real, not coming from my mind. Which means in the dream, you believe the dream ghost as objectively real. From the object means objective existent. Okay, when you wake up, your fear dissolves. You are so relieved because you discovered that the dream ghost was not from the object. It was coming from your subject, from your mind. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Very good. Now with this, what we learn is that for the dream ghost to exist, there are two possibilities. Either it exists from the object or it exists from the subject. This is a very important point. The dream ghost that you are seeing, which scares you, there are two possibilities for this to exist. Either it exists from the object or it exists from this subject. In the dream, you see it just exists as existing from the object. When you wake up, you will see that as existing from this subject. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Yes. Okay, with this, And now the dream ghost. The dream ghost, for that, there are two possibilities. Those in the dream see that as objectively real. Those outside the dream, they see it as subjectively real. From this, what we deduce is that for anything, there are two possibilities. Okay, they just pick up something, whatever you have around you. Just pick up something, book, pen, whatever you have, just pick that up. Okay, so this object that you are picking up now, look at it well. Look at it, and see, because we said that the dream ghost exists as subjectively real. We said it. Now look at this object that you are picking up. Look at it yourself, and see how does that appear? Objectively real or subjectively real? Just look at it and tell me. Okay, Virginia, tell me. Virginia, tell me.
Objectivement réel.
Oh, so yes. Okay, how many of you agree with Virginia? Raise hands. Yes, the object that you are looking at, it appears objectively real as opposed to being subjectively real. We're not asking whether the object exists. We're asking the mode of existence. How does it exist? Objectively or subjectively? This is so important. Let's not forget it. Once you know this, yes, for the object, there are two possibilities. Because that I'm interacting with the object, either the object exists purely from the object, which is objectively existent, or it exists as appearance to my mind, like the dream. Appearance to my mind, that is a subjective existence. These are the only two possibilities. Okay, this is number 2 point that we need to keep in mind. Good. Now with this in mind, let's go back to this flower. You look at this flower well and see what is your emotional reaction and how does it appear, as objectively real or subjectively real. And I'm sure the way Virginia said, all of you will say that it appears as objectively real. Raise your hands, those who they agree with what I said. Very good. Okay, now, okay, just let us imagine that we are looking at the same object through electron microscope. By the way, how many of you have, okay, now let's not spend too much time on this. We all have some idea that all these physical world is made of atoms. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Very good, including this flower. This flower, what we see is flower. If you look at it more closely, if it does exist objectively the way it appears to us, then let us not forget what Arya Nagarjuna said. This is again another important point. Arya Nagarjuna in Precious Garland, he said, if the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Let me repeat it. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? From distance, you see mirage. You see water there, and you wonder, is this water or this is a mirage? Well, let's say that, that you are 1 kilometer away from me, and then you see me in water. And I told you very clearly before, let's say that a few months ago, and it's very clear in your mind that I don't know how to swim. And yet you see me in water. Okay, he said that he cannot swim. How come that he's floating in the water? How come? Is that really water or that is mirage? How will you evaluate that? You are 1 kilometer away from me. How would you evaluate that? Anybody raise hands? Very quick. Anybody who likes to? Quick to save time. Okay. Okay, Shivani.
We'll go close and see.
Okay. So the Shivani said that to evaluate what you are seeing as water, whether that's real water or there's a mirage, you go closer to the object from where the water appears. How many agree with Shivani? Raise hands. Very good. Okay. Now let's go closer towards from where the water appeared. As you go closer, to your dismay, you see that it's totally dry. There's nothing, is not even a drop there. What do you conclude? You conclude that what I earlier saw as water was deceptive. It was just subjectively real. It was not objectively real. How many agree? You agree with me, sense? Very good. Now let us look at this object. What we see as flower now. And I asked you, how does this flower appear to you? Objectively real or subjectively real? And you said as objectively real. Now, if it does exist objectively, we have to go closer to this object to see if it does exist. The way, the manner in which Arya Nagarjuna said, if the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? So you go closer towards this object, which we call as flower, go closer. And how can we go closer? Our eyes are very gross. Our eyes are so limited. It has so many defects. It cannot really see too closely. The better than eyes would be your electron microscope. Now imagine that you look at it through you look at this object through electron microscope. Through electron microscope, what you see is that, look at this. The texture is so nice, amazingly nice. Yes, I can see it. The texture is so nice. But look at through electron microscope, you start to see the cracks like the dry mud. Like the dry mud. When the mud dries, then you see the cracks coming. And the texture is not at all nice anymore. What are these cracks? These cracks are the partition of the cells. In other words, cell membranes. And then zoom in. The electron microscope, fine-tune the electron microscope, you start to see these cells so vividly, individual cells. Through further fine-tuning electron microscope, you see the nucleus of the cell. Then the nucleus of the cell floating in the cytoplasm, mitochondria. Within the nucleus, you see the chromosomes. And how do the chromosomes look? Just later on, you must watch it. You must watch this powers of 10. Don't forget it. Just Google search powers of 10 and you will find it. You will see the chromosomes. What do the chromosomes look like? Chromosomes, they look like a very scary brownish snakes. They don't look like the beautiful chromosomes, the way and the manner in which we draw in the school textbooks. They're not like that. They're very scary, the brownish colored the snakes. And then what happened to your emotional reaction? Same object, now the appeal disappears and aversion arises within you. Okay, number 2. Then through further fine-tuning the electron microscope, the chromosomes, you see that even the chromosomes, they are made of the DNA molecules. And DNA molecules, they are made of the atoms. Now on that level, what do you see? Atoms are not attractive. They are not repulsive. The atoms are neutral. So now what is your mind? The earlier feeling of aversion also dissolves. Now your mind becomes neutral. Okay, emotional speaking, now you feel neutral. At first, it was very appealing. Number 2, there was aversion. Number 3, it was neutral. See, the 3 different emotional reactions with respect to the same object is very fascinating. Okay, now my question to you is that when you see it in the form of the chromosomes, when you see that in the form of the atoms, what happened to that flower? You're not seeing the flower anymore. Why? What happened to that appeal? Appeal is no more there. When the appeal is not, why the appeal is not there? Because the beautiful flower does not appear to you anymore. Okay, now where is this? Look, what's the difference between these 3 things? The first one you see as a flower. Number 2, you see as the chromosomes and so forth, where the flower disappears. Number 3, you see the atoms, chromosome disappear, the flower disappears, right? And the emotional reactions are also different. In the first case, the flower appears. In the second and third case, the flower does not appear. Okay, my question to you is which of the three perceptions is correct. They're very different perceptions. One which gives rise to appeal, second which gives rise to aversion, third which gives rise to neutral feeling. Which of the three perceptions is correct? Raise hands very quick. Somebody? Okay. Quick. I want to see more hands coming up. More hands coming up. Helen? Helen, unmute yourself. Unmute. Helen, unmute. Okay, there's some problem there. Yeah, Helen, unmute yourself. Unmute. Did you unmute yourself? You have to unmute. Okay, now speak. Thank you.
I think neutral.
No, which of the three is the three perceptions of the three appearances all different?
The appearance, the aversion, and neutral.
No, which of the three appearances is correct? The neutral and the aversion. These two are correct. This is what you're saying?
Yeah. The appearance.
One you see as a flower. Number two, you see as the chromosomes, no flower. Number three, you see as atoms, no flower, no chromosomes. Which of the three perceptions is correct?
The appearance.
Which of the three?
One.
Which one? Tell me.
Seeing the flower as a flower.
Okay, not the other two. You see that object?
I think neutral could be because you're breaking it down.
In a way, you are saying all three are correct. You are saying that.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
how many you agree? How many you agree with Helen saying that all three are correct? Raise hands. Okay. Okay. Now my question to you. My question to all of you is: if all three perceptions are correct, why with the first perception, seeing the flower, chromosomes and atoms are not coming to your mind? Why in the second perception, the flower and the atoms are not coming to your mind? Why in the third, the flower and the chromosomes are not coming to your mind? Why? Why not? Anybody?
Because we need to break it down.
Yes. Anybody else? Raise hands. Okay, Anu.
Geshe, maybe we are not habitual of seeing the things in that way. Like we are so.
In other words, are you saying that if you are habituated, we can see all these three things together?
No, but maybe we can see in a different way.
No, like, this is what I'm saying. So why? In other words, okay. Let's say that the first you see a flower. In the second case, there's aversion there. In the second case, there's aversion there. So why the feeling of appeal is not coming to you? Okay, Tudinla.
Geshe, because our conclusion of the object is purely based on its appearance, the way our perception takes it, without getting into the details of what it is made of and how it actually exists. So therefore, when we see the atoms, we don't remember the flower because at that time the flower is not visible to us. And when we see the flower, we don't remember atoms because at that time the atoms is not visible to us. So our conclusion is only based on the visible appearance, not the actual reality.
Very good. Very good. The Mary.
La première qui est donc de l'attraction, c'est une application mentale qui est inappropriée. Tu as entendu? Tu m'entends? La deuxième également, qui est l'aversion, c'est aussi une application mentale inappropriée. La troisième, on est dans le neutre.
Okay, very good.
Dans
Very
le
good.
neutre, c'est parce qu'on est dans le sommet de l'ignorance.
Very good. Very good.
Et puis après, il faut continuer pour aller à l'analyse ultime où on ne voit plus rien.
Very good. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Okay, let us see. This is very important. All of us, in fact, at the moment, people who are raising their hands, they are mostly who are already exposed to this concept. Okay, my question to all of you, whether you're exposed to this concept or not, just give the answer on whether in words or in your thoughts. Give an answer. My question to you is, when you are seeing just this, when you go from the flower to the cells, to the chromosomes, to the molecules, DNA molecules, to the atoms, finally atoms, when you see the pool of atoms, you're not seeing the flower. Where is the flower now? My question to you. Anybody, particularly those who are new to this concept? Raise hands. What do you feel? It's not necessary that you should have your answer should be perfectly correct. No, just speak your mind. If you speak your philosophy, which you're not convinced, I won't be happy. I'll be more happy if you speak your mind, even if the answer may be anything. It doesn't matter. There's no correct answer, correct or wrong answer. Anybody raise hands? French? Those listening to the French translation, you can also raise hands. Anyone? My question to you is, when you are seeing the bunch of the atoms with the same object, through electromagnetic, you see a bunch of atoms, you don't see the flower. Where's the flower? It's just, yes, what is here is just a bunch of atoms. Where's the flower? My question, this is my question. Raise hands, raise hands. Okay, the Ruchita ji.
Geshe-la, the flower is there. It's our view which has changed. Our perspective of looking at it has changed.
Okay, where is the flower? What do you see? It's just a bunch of atoms, that's it. None of the atoms is the flower. Where's the flower? Yes. This is my question. Okay, anybody raise hands? Raise hands, raise hands. Okay, or you have the virtual hand, you just raise it and then we can identify you. Okay, Isabel.
I think we choose how we want to look at things. If you want to feel good, you look at the flower.
This is my question, Isabel. My question is very precise. When you are seeing the bunch of atoms, where is the flower? You said there's no flower, it's just a bunch of atoms. Where is the flower? This is my question.
It's in your memory.
Melanie?
Okay, this might sound a little, hello, can I speak?
Yes, yes, Melanie.
Okay, so this might sound a little crazy because I have attended one of your teachings, but the flower itself doesn't exist to the perception that we have. There are two viewpoints of looking at the flower, either you zoom in, zoom out. So the flower by itself doesn't really exist. It's our perception that we as a whole take it. But when you understand what the flower truly is, you realize that there are many, facets to it. So it's not just the flower. It's by itself. It's a lot of contributory things that makes the flower.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you. Okay, anyone else who likes to give your thoughts? Feel free. This is the chance. Christian? Christian, yes.
C'est une représentation mentale, en fait. C'est uniquement notre esprit qui fixe l'image, mais en réalité, elle n'existe pas, cette image. C'est une représentation mentale.
Okay, so there's no flower? This is a problem. Then if you say there's no flower, then you have to say there's no Christian also. Right? There's no France also. There's no Kalachakra Center also. It's going to be very problematic. Okay. So where's the flower? My question. Anyone very quick? More hands coming up. More hands. Okay, no more hands. Okay, that's my question to you is very simple. Just pick your mind, right? When you are seeing the bunch of the atoms, where's the flower? Where's the flower? You're not seeing the flower. Where's the flower? What happened to the flower? Where's the flower? Raise hands. No. Coming up. Tenzin Nyingje.
I think the flower is still there. We're just looking the small parts of the flower.
Okay, there is a flower still there. Where is it? Behind the atoms or the inside? Behind the atoms, in front of the atoms?
The flower is there, but we're going deeper into the analysis of the flower. And as you go deeper, the flower is still there, but we're looking at the atoms of the flower.
No, what I'm saying is that what we are undeniable. Okay, we have to follow these. They say the sequence of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
First question that I asked is when you see the bunch of atoms, what happened to the flower? Where's the flower? This is my question. If you say yes, the flower is there. Flower's there. Where is it? What are you seeing? It's just atoms. The flower, is it? If it is there, is it behind the atoms or in the front of the atoms or on the side of the atoms? Where? Atoms, no doubt they are not the flowers. If it is there, is it behind, front, side, where? Top, down, where? This is my question.
Then it's a bit difficult to explain.
Okay, difficult to explain. Okay. Many of you said, the answers, you said that, okay, this is your perception. How many agree with this? Raise hands. Okay. Now, let me take step by step. Let me take you step by step. One is that, yes, it's very strange. When I remove the electron microscope, I see the flower. I don't see the atoms. When I put the electron microscope back, the flower disappears and the atoms appear, which means without okay, do you agree with me that without the electron microscope, undeniably the flower appears? Raise hands. Undeniably the flower appears. When I put on the electron microscope, undeniably the atoms appear and the flower does not appear. Raise hands. This does not require any analysis. This is a fact that we should discover. If you agree with me with this, we come to realize that the same object can be seen in different ways. With the naked eyes, you see it as flowers. With the electron microscope, you see a bunch of atoms. Okay, how many of you understood this? It's not about agree or not agree. This is reality. How many of you understood this? Very good, you understood this. From this, I'm taking all of us gradually, step by step. Now, the next step is that, no doubt whether there's flower out there or not, I'm not sure. I think yes, but undeniably, the flower appears to me and the atoms appears to me depending on the different situation. With the naked eyes or with the electron microscope, depending on that, then in one case flower appears, on the other case the atoms appear, no flowers appear. Okay, so it depends. It depends. What I see as a flower there, no doubt what is happening is appearance is happening. And appearance is the subjective, the perception. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Appearance is a subjective perception. Appearance means subjective perception. If you agree with this, now let's say, if I remove the two perceptions, naked eyes and the electron microscope, these are two perceptions created by these two. If you remove these two agents, what is this object? Okay, tell me. Anybody raise hands? If you remove the two perceptions, what is this object? Bharat? Unmute. Unmute, Bharat. Yes. Sounds so right. Oh, yes, Bharat. Say it again.
Bonjour. Oui, l'objet il sera toujours là, puisqu'il y aura une autre personne. Oui, l'objet il sera là, nous on le verra pas, mais il y aura une autre personne qui le verra, donc il sera toujours là. Ah bah désolé, pas grave. Ça marche pas.
Very good, very good. Okay, let's. What I said is that remove all those minds which see this as a flower. Remove all the electron microscope. We see this as atoms. Remove these two. What we do? What is there? Okay, Bharat.
De l'énergie.
Bharat, you speak. Unmute, 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 Bharat. Unmute. Okay. We cannot hear you, Bharat. You can use your microphone, Bharat. We cannot hear you. Okay. Okay, you can the Bharat, you can just give your answer in the chat box. We cannot hear you. Okay, this is again another very important point. What Saida said is that yes, there's a flower that where somebody's going to see flower. So what I said is that all the perceptions as a flower, the mind which places a flower, remove them. What is this object? This is my question. Okay, anyone else? Raise hands. Okay, Maria.
Il ne reste plus rien. Il n'y a plus d'observateurs. S'il n'y a plus d'observateurs,
okay, that's interesting.
Il n'y a plus d'observateurs.
Okay, so if there is no observer, which means that what we say is the flower is purely the perception, subjective perception. Nothing's really there. So when these two are removed, then nothing is really there. Okay, this is Maria's answer. Okay, the Patrick.
There is a phenomena, but there is not the concept of flower.
Okay, there's a phenomenon there which does not have a concept as a flower, which does not have a concept as electron, as atoms. Is what I'm saying?
There is no concept, if no observer, there is no concept, but there is a phenomena.
Okay, is that phenomena material phenomena or mental phenomena? Material?
If there is no mind, there is no mental phenomena. It's
so if there's no mind seeing the flower, then flower is not there.
No, there is a phenomena, but there is not a concept.
No, this is my question. If there's no mind to see the flower, then the flower is not there. Is what you're saying?
The concept of flower is not there.
Okay. If there's no mind seeing a phenomena, the concept of phenomena also is not there.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no phenomena if the mind seeing the phenomena is not there.
The phenomena is there, but the concept is not there.
This is what I'm saying. If the concept of flower is not there, flower is not there, right?
Yes.
If the concept of phenomena is not there, phenomena is not there. Okay, good. This is not an easy task. And if you get a little close to this answer, you will start to have a fear. This fear is a very positive, healthy fear. This is not this is not an unhealthy fear. It's a very healthy fear. This will tell us that this, like a dream, when you come out of the dream, you don't fear because you know the reality. You know that objectively there's nothing there. Still, you don't have the fear. Likewise, as of now, we see things as so objective real. Suddenly, when I ask this question, what is this a flower? What is this atoms? When these are removed, what is there? What is this object? Then you say, okay, this serious question. Then the flower is not there. Then a fear comes in you. Yes, this is what is bound to happen because we have been believing in objective existence. We're believing this is our chronic disease, believing in objective existence, things existing as objectively real. So this is where we need to fix this. Okay. Let's not forget this. We'll continue the class in the next session, 1.5 hours later. Okay, we'll stop here. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Okay, see you in 1.5 hours.